This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 46, verse 11. Go up into Gilead and take balm, O virgin, the daughter of Egypt. In vain shalt thou use many medicines, for thou shalt not be cured. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Jeremiah, chapter 46, verse 11, is that I want to play a clip that I found on my YouTube feed where you have the former IMF executive director, former IMF executive director, Paulo Nogueira Batista Jr. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. All right, but he explains how Doji, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, all right, was set up in vain, and that it was just a smokescreen, and that it was basically, according to his words, it was what's it called? It was them changing the chairs around on a sinking Titanic, according to his words, while the music is playing. Okay, so and this is why Doji closed down, because there was no fixing America's debt. It can't be fixed, and he's going to explain why. He's actually all right in Jake Hood Talk, right? Jake, Ebonics. He's about to cook. Okay. In fact, there may be the title, Let This Man Cook. All right, this man's cooking, man. Okay, on why America's through. Okay, again, this is their former IMF executive director, Paulo Nogueira Batista Jr., all right? So this is from the horse's mouth. This is an IMF executive director. So all you stupid ass American, what's it called? Economists, okay? You ain't got nothing to say. Oh, and you everyday dumbass, American peons, you damn sure ain't got nothing to say, okay? Because this is a former executive IMF director telling you that this place is done, and Doji, didn't do shit. That's why they closed it down, all right? And I believe this is an old video. Somebody just posted it up, but this video goes back to early 2025 because he's when you hear how he explains it, it sounds like Doji's still operational. All right. But let's play this. I'm excited. Again, Jeremiah 46, verse 11. All right. Let's get the NOT version. Excuse me. I'm excited because, hey, man, we're almost out of here. This place is cooked. Go up to Gilead to get medicine, O virgin daughter of Egypt, but your many treatments will bring you no healing. Right. This whole Doji thing didn't bring no healing to America, Babylon the Great. The country is still taking on a tremendous amount of debt, and it's all being set up for its demise. And he explains it. This place is cooked. So, again, let him cook. Let's play.
The United States is currently throwing a party. They are celebrating efficiency. They are celebrating a new golden age. They believe that Mr. Musk has bought a new company to fix, just like he fixed Twitter. But looking at this from the outside, I do not see a victory. Elon Musk has not bought a company. He has bought a ticket on the Titanic after it has already hit the iceberg.
See how I use the Titanic as a metaphor? But yeah, so when this has to be earlier this year, probably between January, February or March, because I think that's when Doji started kicking in. But yeah, he bought a ticket to the Titanic that's already sinking. This place is cooked. Let him cook, man. He's cooking, man. This place is done.
You see, I spent years at the IMF in Washington. I sat across the table from finance ministers of collapsing nations: Greece, Argentina, Brazil. I know the smell of a dying economy.
Woo! Oh, he gave you his credentials, and he's telling you his experience. Okay, seeing other countries. Okay, going collapse. What's it called? Dying. Okay, and he's seeing the similarities, and America's partaking in those similarities. Let's go.
It always smells the same. It smells like desperation disguised as reform. The American media is not telling you the truth about the Department of Government Efficiency. They say it is about cutting waste. But let's look at the math, the real math. The United States is now $38 trillion in debt.
Up. Got to bring out a precept. Okay. All right. We got to bring out back to the basics. Ibat Hebrew. Okay. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Right. That's why he's involved in all types of war. Okay. Conflicts. He has bases everywhere. All right. Because he wants to keep America alive. All right. Esau Edom, the so-called white man, who enlarges the desire as hell, right, and is as death, right. And he's going to bring out why this scripture is so fitting real soon. Just bear with me. All right. What he's about to say about America and the America's petrodollar, the American dollar in general, and cannot be satisfied. He gathered unto all nations and heaped unto all people. 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him? Right. This is a parable, a dark saying against him. Okay? And a taunting proverb against him? Right. That proverb against the king of Babylon, Isaiah chapter 14. Okay? And say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that laid himself with thick clay. Right. Let's go to the Hebrew word. Okay. Ibat. Okay, that's the Hebrew word. Right? Ibat. All right, repetition is the father's skills, the art of remembrance. Heavy debts. Okay. Woo! Now let's go look at. We got to bring out the facts. We got to bring out the facts. Debt clock. Okay, we're gonna bring out the facts. All right, I actually took a picture of this debt clock in Midtown Manhattan when I was in New York in October. So yeah, I was actually me and Zakaria saw it vividly. But there it is, 38 trillion and counting. There's no way to pay this back. So that Doji shit was all in vain. All right. No matter what, this place can't be cured. Let's get it in. All right. Just wanted to bring out the scriptures. Got to bring out the words of the Lord.
The first time in history, the US government spends more on interest payments to bankers than it spends on its own military. Think about that. The greatest superpower in history is now working just to pay the visa bill. Elon Musk is a mathematician.
Right, they call it servicing the debt, aka paying the debt, the interest, which is where the tax dollars are going to, is paying the debt, the interest. The interest, that's what it means, the interest, not the actual debt, okay? And they call it servicing the debt, right? Let me show you this financial term. What does servicing the debt mean? Okay? The debt servicing the total cost of repaying debt, which includes both principal and interest payments over a specific time, right? This is what they're doing. They're just paying the interest, such as a month or a year. It refers to a periodic payments required to cover both the original amount borrowed, principal, and the cost of borrowing interest, right? And this is what America is only capable of doing. It's just paying the cost of borrowing it, which is the interest, not the principal. The principal is that 38 trillion that keeps counting, okay? This is what he's talking about, all right? You're going to get the truth here at Great Millstone through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai. Let's go. We're almost out of here. That means they got to move fast with that RFID chip. This shit about to collapse.
He looked at the books and he realized the terrifying truth that no politician wants to admit. he realized that the United States is mathematically insolvent.
Boom!
The efficiency project is not a cleanup, it is emergency austerity. It is the same bitter medicine the IMF used to force on the third world. Only now the patient is the doctor. And the question is not if the patient will survive the surgery. The question is, what happens to the rest of the world when the surgeon's hands start shaking? We have a name for what Mr. Musk is proposing. In the halls of the IMF, we called it structural adjustment. But the people on the streets of Argentina and Greece, they just called it starvation. In 2010, the IMF forced Greece to do exactly what Elon Musk wants to do to America. We forced them to slash pensions. We forced them to fire government workers. We forced them to sell off their national assets.
You see, that was what Elon Musk was trying to do, and he couldn't get it done. That's why it got closed down. All right? That's why it got closed down. They were trying to. He was trying to say, fuck it, let these people starve. We got to cut somewhere, all right? But it didn't work. That's why they closed Doji, all right? So he's going to explain, okay, where America's going, okay? Because the only thing that there's two options that America can do. They either, okay, allow cut it, what Elon Musk wanted to do, or print money, okay, what they call a slow death, and that's exactly what America is doing. They're going to print money, all right, to the hyperinflation kicks in, because remember, the scriptures talk about in Revelation 6, okay, which we'll get that. He'll bring it up. So let's play this, all right?
The theory was that this efficiency would save the economy. But the reality? The Greek economy didn't get efficient. It shrank by 25%. Poverty exploded. The social contract was torn apart. Now, look at the United States. Elon Musk has promised to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget. It sounds heroic on a podcast, but in the real world, government spending is not just waste. It is someone's salary, it is someone's healthcare, it is the concrete in your roads. The United States economy has become addicted to this spending. If you suddenly pull $2 trillion out of the system, you do not get a leaner government. You get an immediate, catastrophic depression. This is the trap the United States has built for itself. It is a golden cage. If they do cut the spending, the economy crashes and the people riot. We saw it in Athens. We saw it in Buenos Aires. Do you think Americans are more patient than Greeks?
Nope. That's why Doji had to go. You see? Either they were going to cut it, or they're going to do the alternative, which we clearly see. That's why they're lowering interest rates now. They're going to print to what? Hyperinflation. All right? And this is exactly what he's about to explain.
I do not think so. But here is a nightmare scenario. What if they don't cut? If they are too afraid to take the medicine, then the debt continues to grow. The interest payments consume everything. And eventually, the only way to pay the bills is to print more dollars. That is the path to hyperinflation.
Boom! Let's get it. Revelation, because the prophecy has to be fulfilled. Okay? So this is coming. Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5. You already see the headline. Famine. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Right. And this is talking about judgment as well as slavery. Okay. Well, this is what we were taught by the apostles and elders, and it makes perfect sense. All right. Okay. And aren't we in slavery? Isn't this our judgment? Okay. So there's no escaping. This is why we need Yahweh Shai. This is why we need salvation. Only us, the Israelites, need it. Not these heathen, not these Edomites. Okay? They made their bed. Now it's time for them to get judged. Now they're going to sleep in it. Okay? But here's the point 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou her not the oil and wine. The oil and wine represents the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, the truth. Okay? Now, when you go to the NLT version, it says, and I heard a voice among the 4 living beasts say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. Okay? And you clearly see food prices keep going up, going up, going up. All right? Again, that whole Doji thing was smoking mirrors. There was no way they could have cut the debt. Stop spending. Excuse me. Stop spending. All right? There was no way they were going to be able to stop this debt. They're going to print till the wheels fall off, which is going to cause hyperinflation, and that's when the purge really begins, and cannibalism, and you already know, and that's what the prophecies have to be fulfilled. So, you pseudo-Hebrew Israelites, like Genesis, ISUPK, and IUIC, you get your head out of your 4-point of contact, all right? But a lot of y'all, especially the leadership, you're too proud, you're too arrogant, you don't want to take rebuke, so you're going to be judged, all right? Because a lot of your congregation are going to turn on you when all hell breaks loose. Let's get it in.
So, Mr. Musk,
one more time. This is an IMF executive director, okay? You can't just get into the IMF without knowing shit, all right? Meaning the math is mathing in his mind, okay? In terms of bringing out facts, okay? This all he does is play with look at numbers and data. The math is mathing. Let's go.
Standing in front of 2 doors.
Hold on.
To hyperinflation.
There we go. Let's go.
So Mr. Musk is standing in front of 2 doors. Door number 1 is the depression. Door number 2 is the destruction of the dollar. He thinks he can find a 3rd door called efficiency. But as an economist, I must tell you, when you owe $38 trillion, the 3rd door does not exist. But the damage does not stop at the American border. When an empire begins to crumble at home, it does not die quietly. It lashes out. It tries to export its pain to everyone else.
Right, and you clearly see that with Donald Trump. Watch what he's about to say. Yo, this man is cooking. Let him cook. Watch, check this out. Check this out. Listen up.
And this is why the world is currently on fire. You look at the headlines: war in Ukraine, chaos in the Middle East, tensions in Taiwan, and you think these are separate.
And that's how you know this has to be. This was he said this in early of 2025, probably January, February, March, because he didn't say Venezuela. All right, now you got to add Venezuela too. Watch why. Why is he saying all these different conflicts? Check it out, and it has to do with America.
Separate events. You think they are just chaos in the Middle East, tensions in Taiwan, and you think these are separate events. You think they are just geopolitics. They are not. They are economic symptoms. The United States has a unique power that no other country has ever had. They can print the global reserve currency. This means they can force you.
Gotta bring out the scriptures. Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Come on, man. Who's this talking about? America. Let's go. All right? We here, man. We are in the end times. We are the final generation. All we're waiting on is that RFID chip to mark of the beast.
In Brazil, in Europe, in Asia, the global reserve currency. This means they can force you, in Brazil, in Europe, in Asia, to pay for their mistakes. How? By weaponizing the dollar.
Yep.
In 2022, the United States did something that changed financial history forever. They froze $300 billion of Russian reserves. They thought this would stop Russia, but they forgot to ask, what message does this send to the rest of the world? The message was clear. If you do not obey Washington, your money is not safe. Saudi Arabia saw this. China saw this. Even we in Brazil saw this. We realized that the dollar is no longer just a currency. It is a political weapon. And what happens when you weaponize your money? People stop using it.
That's why you're seeing the BRICS nation and various other, countries coming together to run away from the dollar. This place is cooked. This place is cooked. Hyperinflation is coming, man, and he's cooking. Again, former, executive director of the IMF. All right? This ain't no fucking Joe Blow walking on the street. All right? This ain't no fucking six-pack Joe. All right? This ain't no individual. All right? Which I'm not knocking it, but I'm just making a point. Okay? He's not your McDonald's employee. All right? His name is Paulo Nagaria Batista Jr. I'm gonna keep following him because, man, he's bringing out the good stuff. I subscribe to this BR Decode. There's probably other channels that he speaks to because this is just popped up 5 days ago, but this is an old footage.
This is why you see the chaos in the headlines. It is not just war. It is just a currency.
Listen to this.
It is a political weapon. And what happens when you weaponize your money? People stop using it. This is why you see the chaos in the headlines. It is not just war. It is a rebellion. The global south is frantically trying to build a lifeboat before the American ship sinks. But there is a darker side to this chaos. You see, instability is actually good for the US dollar.
Wow! This is why Donald Trump is doing crash out mode on everybody. Okay? Here in America with ICE, Venezuela, okay? All right? What's it called? Iran. Because watch, check this out. Yo, man, they let this man cook, man. He's cooking. He might be, he's from Brazil, born in Brazil. He could be a Jake. All right, but yo, he's cooking. Let's start again. And I'm going to end it off with this because this is the reason. Hey, this proves America's Babylon the Great. And this proves that all these nations are going to turn on America. Okay? All that we're out. What does the scriptures say? Oh, we got to bring that out. Man, the scriptures are just, all that we're at peace with thee, that eat thy bread. The bread is talking about the money. Obadiah verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How is hidden things sought up? Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, talking about the dollar, have laid the wound on thee. There's no understanding in him. Right. So, this is why all these nations are going to turn on America, man. It makes so much sense, man. They see it, and that right now they're behind the scenes, getting ready because they know America's creating all this chaos to keep their hegemony.
Ship sinks. But there is a darker side to this chaos. You see, instability is actually good for the US dollar. When there is a war in Europe, where does the money run to for safety? It runs to New York. When there is fear in the Middle East, what do investors buy? They buy US Treasury bonds. So the United States has a perverse incentive. Peace is bad for business.
Woo! I'm going to end it with that. Peace is bad for business. Okay? Last scripture. Psalm chapter 58 verse 1. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O you sons of men? Right. Okay? America is in no position to ever claim to have the high moral ground. It's all lies. It's all false. America is the one creating the chaos. Okay, if you want to get technical, it's the CIA and its mercenary groups. Okay, all right. These private military contractors, they're being paid to create the chaos. All right, to create instability in the world to try to keep the dollar alive. But it's too late. The cat's out of the bag. This place is cooked, man. 2, yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. Right. And everyone is seeing it. 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they bore, speaking lies. Who's the wicked? Esau, Edom. You can't trust what this devil says, man. All right. You just got to look at what he does. all right, and see it for what it is. He's the devil. That's why there is no salvation for these Edomites at all, okay? Period. The so-called white man gets no salvation. He's only being preserved, all right, for slavery. Those that make it out of the judgment, okay, in terms of the destruction, okay? Because when they go into slavery, that's their judgment. So, Lord willing, that's edifying. Man, this day he was cooking. All right. Again, former IMF Executive Director Paulo Nogueira Batista Jr. All right. Nothing but facts. But they're going to skip over this because it hurts when you know, all right, that this illusion, what they call, okay, America, is coming to an end. And with that, I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Makah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it dirt, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostles, elders. Rumors out here. To the fuses that are watching, keep studying. When you pray to cover Shalom. Let's keep going. Shalom.